LeBron James back tonight in Cleveland, where he is the Cavs' career leader in games played, scoring, rebounding, steals, assists, a whole bunch of other things as well. Coming back to town tonight, also coming off a 51-point game against Miami.
Ooh.
Here's his head coach, Luke Walton.
Luke, what kind of reception would you expect LeBron to get tonight?
I would expect they cheer. I mean, they won a championship together. You know, his love for this area is pretty well known. I would expect he gets a warm reception tonight.
LeBron can drop 51 in his return to Miami. What do you think he has in store for Cleveland as an encore?
Honestly, I don't think he is preemptive. I think he kind of, in Miami, he was playing the game, and he started, the shot was going for him, and he got in a nice rhythm. And besides me taking him out a couple times, he never cooled off that night. So I don't think he has I could be wrong, but I don't think he has a number in mind tonight. I think he comes out and plays the game pure, and depending on how the game's going and what the team needs, that's kind of where he pushes his efforts towards.
We hear there's a video tribute already edited together for LeBron James. I'm curious if there might be one for Luke Walton as well, coming back to Cleveland. Right? 71 games there as a Cavalier, right?
They forgot about those 71 games.
Be surprised some nights around.
Somebody, hey, Luke, I remember you had 10 rebounds that night. Thank you.
I'm surprised some nights around the league who gets a video tribute. You never know.
You never know.
They're handing them out like candy these days.
That's right.
But you know what? If LeBron comes back and treats the Cavaliers the way he treated his other old stop the other night in Miami,
or the way he treated the Cavaliers last time he did this.
Those cheers might turn a little bit. I mean, the Cavaliers need something good to happen, and they really don't need LeBron to come in and rub their face in the fact that he's gone.
They say, cool. He's going to take the turkey and the pre-juice and just rub it all in their face. And to your point, Matt, this team is nowhere near the other team, so the game may be out of hand sooner than later, so he may not be on the court in the fourth quarter. But I wrote down the word pure because I was thinking about this, Sekou and Matt, that Luke Walton hit around here. For LeBron James to be in year 16 and all the great things he's done for us in the NBA, 8 straight years to the finals, he still plays the game purely at this point in his career. He goes out and waits and sees what the defense is going to give him. Or you're not going to double team, I'm attack. You're going to back up, I'm going to shoot the three. And he was admitted the other night, yes, I suck at the free throw line right now, but keep fouling me, I'm going to figure it out. How many guys of that caliber are willing to be that transparent this deep in his career? So I appreciate that.
He's had plenty of nights where he's just gotten hot and wound up scoring a ton of points, but rarely, if ever, do you see him approach a game where it's obvious from the get-go that he wants to go for a big number offensively. That just isn't really part of his approach.
I love
that. But the one thing about LeBron's career that I was thinking about the other day after the 51 points in Miami is, how are we going to explain this 20 years from now? Like, how are we going to tell somebody who's born after LeBron's done playing? Look, let me tell you about LeBron James. In his 16th year, he was still getting 51. You know what I mean? It's been such an unbelievable ride. Watching him, you see that video of him on draft night.
Yeah.
Even when he was in high school, to see where he is now, 16 years in, he's still at the top of his game. He's not the physical, jumping out the gym freak that he was, in Miami. I think that was peak LeBron maybe in Miami, where he was just, an unbelievable physical specimen in the physical prime of his career and learning and cultivating his game the way he did. He comes back to Cleveland, and I thought he was a much more cerebral player by then.
No question about it.
He had figured out the matrix.
Knew how to win.
Knew how to win, knew how to put guys in a position. For him to still be doing this now, 16 in 3D, come on.
That's why when Luke said that word pure, that's why I had to write it down, because to make sure we could talk on that, because there's not too many guys that's come through our league that we can say deep in his career, he's still as dominant as any player that walks on the floor every night.
I might argue with you a little bit on the physical freak point. He may not be quite as explosive as he was a few years ago, but he is a physical marvel. You're talking about a guy who has played at least 70 games, all but 2 of those seasons so far.
Well, I'm going back to, you remember the block he had on Thiago Splitter in the finals?
The dunk, yes.
He doesn't do that anymore. He's not he doesn't rim protect on defense the way he used to when he could jump, over everybody on the court, basically. And that extra mileage, Matt, all these extra games to play, that's had to take a little bit of toll on him.
You would think Right.
Well,
Still unbelievable.
I appreciate that he puts away his yoga gear. You know what? That is just good locker room etiquette. That's what that is. Roll the thing up, take it away from the lockers, over the side.
So I don't know.
Nobody wants to trip on that
You
stuff.
gotta put your stuff away. You gotta lean this way, get his back right. You gotta get
He had the
stuff for the
roller
game.
inside the yoga mat.
Sometimes I
He
think he
rolled it up.
sleeps,
He set it over to the side. Nobody wants to trip over that stuff.
Sometimes I think he sleeps.
Could you have done a better job, though, of taking care of yourself?
That's key.
And taking care of your career the way LeBron. I mean, it's unbelievable to me that he's still this impactful a player 16 years in. And we all wondered, would he have that same effect on this Lakers team? And then you look up and see the way he's been playing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And by the way, you guys can argue against this point, but I've always said longevity and endurance, that factors into where you rate players and how you assess their careers.
Yeah.
I've always been a Kareem guy when it comes to the argument of the greatest player of all time, and that's part of it for me because he was a great player into his
37,
late
38,
30s.
40, 38 years old, making an all-star team at 38.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you love that part. And that's why when you hear great things about LeBron, we no longer guess it because we know he takes care of his body year in and year out, and that's why we're sitting here in Marvel in year 16.
Look no further than the guys he came into the league with. You know, aside from Vince Carter, who apparently is aging backwards.
Like you said the other night, he's still half amazing, man, like you said. Look at that. Put your shirt on, LeBron. We know you.
I think it's going the other way around. At this point, I think Vince is like 90% amazing because he's still in the league. LeBron's not afraid to show off the physical.
He's not shy in
I'm not shy.
the physique. Show off what he's done.
At least you work on it. At least you work on it,
Kind of what I
Bron.
look like
But to your point, Dwayne Wade calling it quits after this year. Carmelo Anthony's looking for a job apparently right now because he's ineffective. Those are his guys from that class. Chris Paul has had all kinds of injuries over the last few years.
It's just, I mean, again, to have the physical wherewithal to still be at the top of your game the way LeBron is. I mean, you watch, he's going through the lane and dunking on people. It's not above the rim, but he's still getting up high enough that nobody
The
is
few alley-oops
contesting.
in there, the few alley-oops,
Yeah,
ball alley-oop.
nobody's blocking the shot. I mean,
No, and he hasn't transitioned to a corner three shooter or something where he's not moving around a lot, and he's still going at it hard.
good luck explaining this 20 years.
You know, we'll say he was the current phenom before that guy. Some guy who hasn't been born.
No,
yet.
what happened is, Michael Jordan was great. Oh, then LeBron came along. Oh, here you go. You got his shirt on.
Well, I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Where's all the people at, though?
Lakers and